And now a tutorial on how to make fake AI more real.
How do I explain this to someone who's never seen my channel before?
Right, call it in.
I'm sorry, incorrect passcode.
Call it in or you're uploading stock footage for the next year and a half.
Access denied.
Right now, you have 3 seconds.
Can
2.
you think of anything else?
I hope this works.
Access granted. Systems online. Estimated flight time, 3 minutes. Burbank Tower, Oscar Tango India Sierra, 3 miles east of Santa Monica, requesting low altitude flight following downtown Los Angeles, altitude 100 and climbing.
Negative, Oscar Tango India Sierra. We have a TFR from Dodger Stadium. Request denied.
Copy you. Substituting storyboard stock footage. Night vision mode engaged. Infrared, 82.
So probably the most fascinating part of that scene is that I crafted the dialogue in post, like a week later. I made it work.
Call it in or you're uploading stock footage for the next year and a half. Right now, you have 3 seconds. 2. I hope this works.
Just trusting this evolving process that I've been working on for like the last 2.5 years now, even in the moment when I'm performing with Otis, I don't know exactly what she's gonna say, but I kind of know the structure of the story. Like, this is where she says something witty and it's a win.
Upload is complete.
What are we uploading to?
The integration you initiated earlier has finalized.
Otis, I'd like to open up a new project.
Ready when you are.
Project Oscar Tango India Sierra for an immediate launch.
We are almost set. I just need a passcode.
Fine, you were right. You were right. You were right. Call it in.
I'm sorry, incorrect passcode.
Call it in or you're uploading stock footage for the next year and a half.
Access denied.
Right now, you have 3 seconds.
Can
2.
you think of anything else?
I can't tell you how many hours I spent just trying to craft that right little mechanism to work so that my performance looked a little bit more organic and Otis has that nice, like, win moment. Fake AI, as in artificial intelligence.
Load in SoundCloud playlist from We Are All Astronauts.
My product launch videos all sound the same.
We don't have any color grades for Blackmagic Raw. We'll have to build some from scratch.
Stylized grades, incomprehensible filmic lexicon, exposition after blatant exposition, all sugar-coated with a sassy Australian robot voice.
It's generally not advised to shoot high levels of compression when filming complex imagery, high frame rates, or in low light scenarios, and since you're doing all 3, we will have to run some tests.
I call it a hero vlog. Hero's journey meets new camera tech and an unapologetic Jarvis knockoff, explaining what we should do and why we should care.
You won't be able to film much here. We'll have to go above ground.
It's been a closely guarded secret for the last 2 years, and now it's time to make it open source. I'm here on a Saturday night trying to figure out what crypto to invest in. Otis, any help? I haven't typed up her response yet.
I'm not here. I'm dead. Remember?
They have been following us for the last 15 minutes. It's a proximity attack.
The train has been looking for you.
I'm sorry, Josh. There was no other way.
Even in her afterlife, she's still a little salty. Yo, Josh, yo. This is a super fun episode. I have been waiting so long to share with you guys this tutorial, and it's actually really, really simple to do. Adobe Audition, and you go up to Effects, Generate, and Speech. And then you can pick out from this whole list of languages, and, you know, they have guy girl options, and you can get them to say stuff.
I'm not here. I am dead.
In Japanese probably doesn't work that well. All right, before I give all my secrets away, a word from our sponsor. All right, so this is pretty rad. I only found out about this a couple weeks ago, but it's already changed my morning routine. So Morning Brew is my go-to news source. It's a totally free newsletter. It's kind of like what I used to get in college. Every morning you get an email, it takes you 5 minutes to read, and then you're up to speed on the latest in business, finance, or tech. It's kind of like having your own AI who gives you helpful tips.
Are you talking to me?
I said helpful tips.
Awazi to no Dogecoin goes to the moon.
And it's not just business stuff, it's got like bite-sized interviews with like super successful people. It also has some really witty articles. The future of mental health is psychedelic. It's talking about the use of like magic mushrooms to treat mental health. I think it's relevant. It makes you feel like you've read the Wall Street Journal without actually having to read the Wall Street Journal. If you're into business, finance, or tech, there's no reason not to get the Morning Brew. It's free. It takes less than 15 seconds to subscribe. Check the link in the description and get on my level today. So if it was just as easy as like typing in what you wanted her to say, like tutorial over, but it's not. It's really hard to get her to sound authentic and real and motivated, like she's invested in a real conversation. But what else we got here? Spanish?
I'm not here. In bed. Remember?
Actually, that accent's pretty good. The one I use for Otis is Australia. And then you just type in whatever you want. And I mean whatever you want.
My name is Otis, you f***ing wankler.
Wankler? You wankler! So sometimes you have to like phonetically spell things out. Like for example, gimbal.
Gimbal. Gimbal. Gimbal. Gimbal. Gimbal. Gimbal.
Oh man. Anyway, there's like a ton of them in there. So that's the easy part. The hard part is bringing it to life. Figuring out what to write, dialogue, the dynamics of character, using it in a way that feels real and organic and isn't just an exposition dump.
New hardware detected. DJI Navigaire 2 Quad Base sensor, capable of 4K 60, 240 slow-mo, and HDR video.
99% of the time, they use a voiceover actor. Not this guy.
Negatives quite satisfactorily. I am the voice of Night Industry 2000.
Hi.
Working on a secret project, are we, sir?
I wouldn't know. I also have a discretion setting, Cooper.
Let me know if you need my help, Glenn.
I could see your lips move.
Perhaps you're imagining things.
And that right there is exactly why I kept doing it over the years and just kind of evolving it. It morphed into something a little bit more organic and a little bit more interesting, and definitely honing my skills on storytelling and dialogue and the dynamics of character. Let's take it back to the beginning. I thought it was gonna save me time, and it ended up taking way longer just to get it not to sound super campy. That first episode, I remember going to Maui with my wife, and my wife was like, "You're not gonna work, are you?" And I was like, "No, I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna film a couple of things, but I'm definitely not gonna work." Crap, Blackmagic 4K just came out. I can't waste this opportunity. I came up with this stupid idea of having a robot voice do it and creating a character that way.
Loading Class 1 Destroyer LUTs to break apart the image. Image not breaking apart. The 12-bit codec is extremely robust and will support extreme color grading.
So many people hated that first episode, and it's easy to see why. Too much Otis. It needs to be broken up. And that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, what if I created some more interactive elements and I had it more of like a dialogue?
It uses artificial intelligence.
It has its own AI. What happens if you have AI meet AI? Card.
Backlit scenarios can be tricky. How do you proceed?
Let's try color in depth. Color lock. Face tracking locked. Eyes locked.
Great job. We saw you take our notes and you did the exact opposite. Okay, so maybe more conversations with me. If she had a face that I could interact with, then I could bounce things off of her and it would feel like a conversation between two friends. Right? Let's rewind it to 2017. Before I even had a YouTube channel, I built a time machine elevator as an art piece for Burning Man. Looking pretty good, guys. Dude, we've been working on this thing for like the last 9 hours. Got our sign. I don't know if I've showed you that. It's coming along. Signature of Burning Man is a little bit of whiskey shots with some pickle juice, pickleback. The control panel for the time machine was nothing more than a smart mirror. It looks complicated, but it's a semi-transparent mirror tint on a piece of glass. If you fasten a monitor on the backside and black out any possible spill light, the transparent part of the tint will look like a mirror and only what's being played on the monitor will shine through. We called it Orbiting Traveler's Intermediary Station, and her original voice was actually
My name is Otis.
my friend Dave from We Are All Astronauts. When I moved into my studio nearly 3 years later, it dawned on me that this could be repurposed for the channel as a fun Otis interface to inject a little story element into my videos.
Systems online. Integration complete. I'm online. And I'm aware.
This is Otis's mainframe. It looks like some HUD thing, but it's actually just a mirror with a monitor behind it. Come up with whatever graphics I want for Otis. I load them onto a little USB card, and then I have 3 media players. They play any video file you want. You get this illusion of like multiple things running at the same time. And then I just run it on loop.
California is under siege with 137 new wildfires. Governor Newsom has declared a state of emergency. COVID cases are on the rise despite a momentary decline.
Yeah, enough of the news. What about sports?
One thing to know, this is a very kitschy device. If you decide to go down this rabbit hole and use something like Otis, it's a very fine line of cringe. You're always battling cringe no matter what. And it's not your fault. We get bombarded with robot calls all the time. Like right now, I have robot IRS telling me that I'm going to jail unless I send them 5,000 euro. Like, think about it. How many times have you called customer service and you had to go through 9 different steps of this stupid robot before they finally connected you to a real life human? We are hardwired to want to be around humans, not robots. It's the human element that is lacking here. I need a voiceover actor.
To test the increased pixel count, we will need a detail-rich location and to shoot as wide as we can. Bodie, California. Population unknown.
Sorry, I'm not the house. I'm not a shaker.
Are you okay if I film this a little bit for the vlog?
Sure. Do you?
And does he have like a Yeti or magic?
To fully appreciate the resulting power, you will need to shoot Blackmagic Raw 6K, then set timeline resolution at 6K.
Okay. So let's do the first 2 lines. Those are fast, and then I'll replay how the last one should go because the cadence is going to be a little different, I think. Perfect.
The amount of details I'm reading is exceptional, a noticeable amount more than 4K. Got it. The amount of details I'm reading is exceptional, a noticeable amount more than 4K. Bodie, California. Population unknown. It is my favorite show. Launching Skynet Initiative in 3, 2, 1.
Nailed it. See you later, MC.
Bye. Thanks, Josh.
May I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Why do you have your hair cut like that?
It's my Burn Man haircut, Otis.
Why would anyone want to look unemployed?
That is a fact I cannot deny. So now a funny thing happened. I actually preferred fake Otis voice over her voice.
Why?
I mean, I had painstakingly done 8 episodes crafting this computerized voice, and now I have a real, like, in-the-flesh voiceover actor that's putting life to these lines, and she's nailing it, and it doesn't make any sense to me. So here's my thought. Right, so you guys recognize this voice?
Effective temperature.
So that's, right. Master of the Universe, the late, great Stephen Hawking. So back in 1986, Stephen Hawking, he's got no voice. He's got Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS. He's like paralyzed from the eyebrows down, can't talk. He teams up with this guy named Paul Klatt, and they synthesize this voice, which later becomes Stephen Hawking's voice. And the reason why I bring this up is because how much we link voice to identity. Stephen actually trademarked that voice, and so no brand could ever use that voice, even though it's completely synthesized fake. That's his identity. I had identified with Otis's computerized voice. Like, I was starting to think in the headspace of her as a character and infusing elements of my personality in there, like my humor. When you add another actor and another voice to that, you almost have to start from scratch. Plus, Mary Claire moved away. I know, I found Otis and she moved away. So I'm gonna put Mary Claire's information down in the description. She's got a very high quality, expensive Australian, or she can do English accent. So I will definitely use her again. So now we're back to square one. There's only one thing left to do. Some good old-fashioned research.
Planning your interrogatives quite satisfactorily. I am the voice of Night Industry 2000's microprocessor.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
What's the problem?
I think you know what the problem is just as well as I do.
You read a whole book in the second that asked you what your name was?
In 2/100ths of a second, actually.
Goodbye, Dr. Brent. See you on the other side, Coop.
See you there, Slick!
Thank you.
Say a word, you're good.
What the crap, the gas is touching. Found the problem. Circuitry is crossed. You have additional hardware on the same circuit. Oh crap. Josh, you might feel a little squeeze. Hang on, Josh. There are some significant electrical issues.
Stop.
I have to reboot the system.
Otis, don't go on the freeway. Do not go on the freeway.
Systems online.
Finally clicked with Anamorphia 2. I realized that the human element that we were missing was flaws. It's the flaws that make characters interesting. Flaws in me as a main character, but also as in Otis. And I had never really flawed Otis before. Otis had always been a character that was kind of perfect. You know, she was always statistically correct and she had an answer. I mean, she's a computer. How many times do you type in something on a calculator and you're like, I wonder if this is correct? Like, never, right? We always just assume that the computer is correct because that's their purpose. And so for me, making Otis flawed and injecting those kind of human elements into her, like, yeah, I didn't arrive at that conclusion naturally. It wasn't until I got stuck on Anamorphia 2 and I had spent a month trying to figure out the garage scene. Anamorphia 2, the very first scene that we shot was me hanging outside of the moonroof, going down the freeway with a gimbal and camera, and it makes zero sense at all. This is before we had the story mapped out. And I love the footage, and I was determined to keep it in the edit and use it somehow. I wrote myself into a corner, and I had to figure out a way out. So see if you can figure out the way that I got out. I discovered this very human element.
Please don't make me regret this.
Am I losing my mind?
This is a remarkably bad idea.
This can't be a coincidence.
You're chasing a dream which ends with you under a bus.
That's why we're doing it differently this time. We're not chasing the dream, we're chasing Parallax. I'm borrowing your bag.
Someone had a change of heart. Don't you have your own?
I do, just not one as big.
Please don't take mine on this suicide mission.
Well, technically, he gave it to me.
My neural network can only live on one home base at a time. If I crash and the vehicle is compromised, I won't have any way back.
So we'll have to be real careful. Lobster, you're back on.
Say hello, Brett, good times tonight. Come on.
You don't know what's at stake.
You'll be fine. You're just getting cold feet. I was nervous my first time, too.
This is reckless even for you.
You studied that material I gave you?
90 episodes of the show, Knight Rider.
Perfect. That's all you need.
My life.
You see, that's what it means to be human, Otis. Do things that terrify you. All connected?
Online. Meshing systems now. Mesh locked.
Oh, that's nice.
Jesus, what year is this vehicle?
Easy, all right? This is a limited, okay? Check the leather. It means luxury, all right?
You have a factory airbag recall and several serious mechanical issues that need to be addressed.
I know, it's got some water damage.
The windows don't roll down.
Just don't mess with them. It's totally fine.
How are we filming buildings then? Through the windows?
That's a good point. Fear. She's a first-time driver. That scene I subverted the roles. So she's no longer the all-powerful AI that has an answer for everything. She's out of her element. She's being faced with something that she's never done before, which is driving, and she's trying to talk her way out of it. And so a very interesting dynamic, and it also led to a lot of comedic relief.
There are some significant electrical issues. I have to reboot the system.
Otis, don't go on the freeway. Do not go on the freeway.
Systems online.
For me, that just kind of rounded out my experience. The last 2.5 years, I was like, yes. After we shot that scene, I decided I was going to kill her off. I killed her off, and so I'm ready to bring her out to the world, and I want to see what you guys make with it because I want to see those interactions. So here are my tips on how to make Otis a little bit more real, a little bit more believable, and how you can use them in your vlogs. A trick that I picked up is just use it with music. So for some reason, her dialogue by itself sounds awful to me, but her dialogue with music, like punchy, fast music, sounds okay. She's got a sense of humor. You're the butt of all the jokes. You know, make her jealous, make her spiteful, make her, give her a sense of humor, and see what happens to your dynamic, whether you're acting with her or whether you're directing it or whatever. And that's a really good way to win the audience, is that you be the clown and give her a win.
Oh, that's the nitrous bottle? That's sick. Oh man, look at this radar thing.
I got a bunch of navigational stuff in there, just really anything that I could think of.
So my buddy Greg here made all of the assets for Anamorphia 2. He made them from scratch, and now he put them all into a pack together, and you guys can download that pack. And if you guys buy it, I'm splitting it with Greg, and he can help send this kid to college. Can't wait to see what you guys make with this. I will see you guys next week. Nailed it. You nailed it.
Mesh lock.
Oh, that's nice.